Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things with the second video of 2023. I had mentioned in the first video that I was going to move on to a Fish and a Wish for this week, but in the midst of all of this, I found a thank you card that reminded me of a project that I worked on at the quarterly meeting last October, and I did not video any of what I made, so I want to do a quick walkthrough of this pseudo kit, as I call it. It is the Season of Chic. So this is the stamp set. I have the bundle, and the kit was a subset of solid cardstock with like a half of the Memories and More pack. I don't really do the Memories and More packs very often, but this one's really pretty. So I'm going to show you bits and pieces from the Memories and More pack. Then I have 4 completed cards to show you, as well as a couple of mocked up cards that I can do a little mixing and matching with. And I really feel that if you didn't have the stamps, you don't have to have the stamps, and you don't have to have the dies. Let me show you what the dies look like. So the dies are really, really cool, but if you didn't have these dies, you could still do a lot with the Memory and More kit. So I'm going to show you a variety of ways to work with the materials that I was provided. We were provided a half of a Memory and More pack because we split it. There was like a dozen of us. We each received 2 sheets of the Distressed Gold, a length of the 3/8 gold shimmer ribbon, which I will show you momentarily on because I didn't pull it out. I have it on a card. And then we were given rhinestones. And the amount of rhinestones was 1 strip, 2 rows from a pack. And that's enough for 3 rhinestones per card. And they gave us 12 made up samples that we all, my strategy when I go to a card class, because I don't like to have to fight over the sample card to look at, I just take photography on my cell phone of all of the cards that I am given, if I'm either matching that card or if I just have options and I can look at them. Now, none of the cards that I did mimicked any of the 12 that were given, but I used those for inspiration to create my own and adjusted from there. So first off, with the Season of Chic color scheme, I have the 4 main colors that we were provided. Whisper White has now turned into Basic White. So these were the 4 colors of materials we were provided. In the solid cardstock, we were not given any of the DSP. We used the Memory and More cards, which I will show you some of them. Then I see that there's a couple of extra colors that are interesting, and that is Crumb Cake and Evening Evergreen. And I even have 1 mock-up started in the Evening Evergreen, and I believe that the dark green may be technically Mossy Meadow, but between those two, I lean toward the blue of Evening Evergreen versus the more yellow or Mossy Meadow. So that's just, I think you could use either green depending on what your preference is. So then we have a whole bunch of elements. You get 2 pages of stickers. I would imagine that the entire kit is 4 pages of stickers if we split. And then you have a whole bunch of, oh, and then I should point out that one of the sheet of stickers is all foiled, gold foiled. And then the other sheet is not. Oh, never mind. These 2 are, there's more foil. So this is the dark color that I think could go Mossy Meadow or Evening Evergreen. I prefer, again, the Evening Evergreen color. And here, let's look at some of the cards that you get. One side tends to have text. The other side is a pattern. Notice this does have a little bit of, it's lines. You're supposed to write notes for scrapbook pages. But I could use this on a card very easily. So There's lots of phrases. They seem to be inspirational type phrases. Some things would be relevant on a card. Other, like even it's the little things could go on a card. You could morph that into whatever your message is for the recipient. Everything beautiful starts with love. And let's see some more. Here's backs, more lines. This is actually a grid. And then the other side, we have some seashells. This is a stamp set that is multi-seasonal. So you have winter, you have floral, seashells, leaves for fall, and it talks about all the different seasons. And these sentiments are all very neutral sentiments, although we do have the wishing the best birthday. You have a thanks, love, thinking of you, amazing beyond measure, I am here for you. Not necessarily Christmas per se, but could definitely go Christmas and Thanksgiving just by having the right elements. So this Memory and More kit then also has bits of all of the different holidays, not just anything specific. So it's a nice generic set. Here's the larger, those cards are the smaller size. They are half of the, I was going to get a ruler out to let you know the dimensions. All right, so the Memory and More must be 4 by 6. Let's see if it's 4. Yes, 4 inches by 6 inches. So these half-page ones are 3 by 4. So you can then trim down your mats if you want to do mats with them, which I will show you. So here are some of the full size. Here's a couple. Best day ever, loving this life of ours, and then of course the back is a pattern. Here are some full-size sheets. Some of them have grids, some of them have lines, some of them just have a pattern, and then we have some very large words that for me, making a card, I wouldn't use this large of a sentiment. Let's see what this one says. But you could cut this out. You could die cut the smaller phrases out. You'll see where I actually took and did some fussy cutting around some flowers. See the good in all things. This could be cut out and be on a card. And these are the days. So for this, I would probably use the back side. So it's just whatever you want to do with these phrases. Here's another good one that I would cut this off and put it on a card, and then the back is just a texture. And then a couple more. When we have each other, we have everything, and then a pattern on the back. Here is one that could be fussy cut out, or you could add some wording. I could see this sticker could be put on here with some foil leaves to dress this up, and then you could add a mat and pop it up on the front of a card. I think of the Memory and More packs sort of like the paper pumpkin kits, only on steroids, because you get so many more elements with the paper pumpkin. I mean, with the Memories and More, you get enough to make many more cards. And then, of course, you're supposed to supplement with your bundle, which has stamps and dies, and then embossing folders. But still very much like how I treat a paper pumpkin kit. So now I want to show you a card. This is a card that I made by fussy cutting out this pattern. cutting out this thank you. This was not a sticker. This was on a piece of, it was like one of these, and I cut out the thank you. I then added the die cut pieces I had. When we were there doing this, the die cut machine was sitting there, and you could die cut anything you wanted, however you wanted, as well as we were provided like 5 different embossing folders so we could emboss. And then if you'll see this dusty distress treatment, that is a special product. It is actually called Gilder's Paste. Gilder's Wax, Rub and Buff, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. I have 2 different styles of it, and I will put both on my Amazon store. So I got these from Amazon, and this one comes in, you get 8 different or 7 different colors, and there's a few different sets of these. This one is like a Christmassy metallics, though it does have a non-metallic orangey red, burgundy and blue, and green. And then this one is a very inexpensive version. You don't get very many or a big volume, but just a tiny bit goes a really long way. So you put it on a paper towel and you rub it on. And I purposefully like to streak it on so that I get some lines in my application. And I have this on a few cards for you to see today. I had just bought these actually, and had one for Libby and one for me. The other brand, sorry if I'm sounding far away, is actually for furniture, and it comes, like, these tubes are 6 years old now, and I have silver, copper, gold, and an antique gold, and I have used them on furniture. On, like, this silver one has been used on a lot of my new furniture in our house, and this tube is still that thick. It's like it's hardly even dented with me putting it on very large pieces of furniture. And this is it says it's a wax with a metallic finish, and it finishes itself. It has a little bit of a smell to it, but not too bad. And then this one is metallic rub-ons to be used to accent, highlight, or as a full coverage media. Use on heavy cardstock, glossy paper, clay, ceramic, wood, or other hard craft surfaces. So it is designed for crafters, not for big pieces of furniture. So you get a very small amount, but more colors. So again, I will have those on my Amazon store for you to try out. And this is the shimmer, 3/8 shimmer gold. It goes perfectly with the gold. And then here's 3, how I used the rhinestones. I used one of each size pretty much on every project. And here is the second project. See, I had already packaged these up last October and put them away. So here is my application again of the bronzy color. Put it on a paper towel and just rubbed it around the edges to give it a kind of a distressed, dusty appearance. And this is 2 of the small pieces of the Memories and More pack. So you have one that's the back side, and then the front with the phrase. With this one, look at, I splurged. I actually used 5 rhinestones on this one. So see, I don't follow the rules very well. And then we have the shimmer gold. The third one is one where I used strips of the distressed gold and attached it around the edges. Took the congratulations off of one of the large pieces of this size, had a congratulations on it, so I cut it up. And then the petal pink, I did the falling leaf 3D embossing folder and then added a couple of leaves, and here I was good. Did 3 rhinestones. as well as this gold shimmer. I could have added like a knot on this end, but I just wanted to keep it nice and simple and just added a little accent on the left. And then I did distress and rough up the edge of the congratulations. I use my larger regular scissors. I do not use my nice paper snips that I use for fussy cutting. And I even recommend that you maybe go get a kitchen knife and dedicate that. It would need to be the sharper one, and dedicate that kitchen knife for roughing up edges so that as it gets dull, you're not dulling actual scissors. The last one that I put together is this one. It says, I like you in gold, and then I just went ahead and cut a piece of the distress as a mat. The distress gold, added a couple of leaves shells. Oh, and I did pull my own metallic rustic dots. I then took the soft suede Stampin' Spot, and you can see that I went ahead and ran it horizontal across, giving it a nice heavy weighted streaky look. That is just a really nice way to add distressing over a large space. And then I also ran it horizontally along the edges to make the edges really dark. And then I did rough up the edges slightly, as well as sponged them. And so that's the fourth finished card. I did, in all cases, I went ahead and stamped the envelopes and the insides of these cards. And then I just have a couple of ones that I saw some pieces, and I think that you could take and add throwing some things. This isn't even attached to this piece of Evening Evergreen was already in the set. You could do angled like one of the samples that I did, and you could add this gold line and throw on some leaves. This one's like a neutral, and there isn't an actual, whether it's leaves, flowers, shells. And so then you can add some rhinestones, and then you have instant card. And these are just full A2 sheets. I always put my card bases are basic white thick. So when we got our pack, some of the samples were done and folded that are the color, and I never do that. I always use colors as just the front, and then put the thick white as my base. So all of these that you're seeing here have been done with the thick white as the base. So it's an opportunity to add a really quick mat. You just trim these down to 4 by 5 1/4, and then boom, you have yourself a mat. And then the second one that I was working on is also a green one. These are just ones. This one actually is attached. So it has Enjoy Your Day. And it could be trimmed down and have, it could be double matted. I'm going to flip this over. So when I cut, I use my Carl cutter, and the Carl cutter is actually, no, I think I did this at the class. So somebody's cutter, whoever cutter I used, was a little bit rough, and if that happens, here's my trick. So you just flip it over. If you flip it over, and then if there's still any rough edges, just run your finger across, and it will pull off any fluff, and you're good to go. If it's a really bad and it's a really dull cutter, you can take your snips and trim it down. But in this case, I would go ahead and do the green and white. I might do a white trim, or perhaps trim down, like this is just a scrap. I might go ahead and add a scrap of white, trim it down thin. I have the gold snowflake, put a rhinestone on it. If I wanted to, I could add this piece of gold. I could, I do have a second snowflake. So if you want to dress it up, and in my case, I would probably trim off these snowflakes, although it's kind of cute to have them be off the page. I would pop up the Enjoy Your Day layer, and then possibly see about, this is so dainty though, it would be very hard to pop it up, but with some effort, you could take a dimensional and cut it into little pieces and pop it up and then have a very nice enjoy your day card. That is all I've got. I will have all of the supplies used of everything you've seen here up on my blog, and then the link to the 2 different kinds of Gilder's paste. I will have links, and they will go to Amazon, where I am an influencer. Again, after I get done with this, I will be still, we've got a Fish and a Wish to come, and I have a bunch of projects and techniques to show with that. That will probably be between this week and next week. Next week will be Winter is Coming Wednesday, kicking off the new season. I think I'm in season 4 or 5. I'll have to look that up and see how many years I have done the Winter is Coming Wednesday. I think it's season 4. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them here on the video or over on my blog. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.